to the Morning Coffee Show. I'm Prince Akeem.
I'm Amanda Love.
And today we will be discussing something I think is going to be a little touchy, but very necessary. Why is money so important in relationships?
Fun.
Or is it really important in relationships?
Not at all.
No?
I was joking.
I think it's one of the most important things in relationships. Next to sex, I would say. Sex is important.
Money and sex. Those are the important things. Yeah.
Money and sex, you don't think so?
Right at the top of my list.
Yeah, 1 and 2. One and you can arrange it however you want. I would say money first, then sex. And then food. Like money, sex, and food.
Food, like if there's going to be food, that's like a life necessity. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. It comes up there, but it's like in the top 3.
Is it like how good the food is? Like, can she cook? Or is it like...
I just need to get food. However, if she cooks,
it just needs to be on the plate.
Yeah, it needs to be in the house.
Don't matter who made it, though.
Yeah, money, sex, and food. We can go in that order.
Not me. Just him.
Food first? Okay.
Maybe, for me, maybe food first.
It's all good. Well, before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to Jimmy and Mary's. If you didn't realize last week, you had them in the background of our show. They are a local business here in the Virginia Beach area. They make these wonderful soaps.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's okay. You can brag a little bit. It's true. They make all kind of great things. They make these little butters and raw products. Yeah, you are very, very shiny today.
Well, because I came in and saw it sitting here and I was like, yes.
Adonis is amazing.
It smells. I mean, they all smell. They all smell amazing. They are all like, my hands are super soft and shiny, and my legs are super soft and shiny.
Just don't touch anything or anyone.
No, I just put it on. That's why. The soaps are incredible. I have the charcoal one at home.
How is it?
Soap, amazing.
You like it?
I use it every day now.
Me too.
Every day. It's like an addiction.
Yeah. I like the charcoal, the black, what they call it, black soap.
Yeah, the black soap.
And I have like this coffee, like exfoliation thing.
I saw that.
It's amazing. It wakes you up in the morning too.
It's like rejuvenating, isn't it?
It's coffee
you put
before
it on your
coffee.
face and then you like scrub.
Yeah.
And it's like scrubbing like a draw between like a really smelly, awesome soap and coffee grinds. It's like breakfast and awesome face soap all in one.
Yeah. It has shea butter in it. So that's where the nice smell comes from. Shout out to Jim and Mary's. Make sure you guys go check them out online. We'll have the website down below so you'll be able to click on there and find them.
Shea butter mixes, bath soaps, shampoo bars, soap, butter bars, beer butter, shave soap, scrubs, facial masks, spritzers, all kinds of awesome things.
Bath bombs.
Oh, lots of bath bombs.
A lot of them.
Big,
all
small,
kinds.
Smells.
Mad different.
Smells are amazing.
Yeah.
Aromatherapy.
Well, enough of that good smelling stuff. Let's jump into the topic of the day.
Okay.
So why and if money is the most important thing or very important in relationships, do you think it's the most important thing or next to the most important thing?
I think it is... I don't think it's the most important thing, but I do think it's very important to integrating a relationship. I think if you're just getting to know each other, it's not that big of a deal in the very beginning because it's not like, for me, it's not a deciding factor.
Okay.
But I do think it's an important factor.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I want you to be able to support yourself. And I think it's a good indicator of like, responsibility, character. Like, I mean, if you're not financially responsible, then how can you be mindful of other responsibilities that people handle in like your normal everyday life? So
very fact, very, very big fact. We have some few things here that we'll discuss, and one of those things is what she just said. But a quick note for you guys: they said 33. If a couple argue about finances 33% of the time throughout the week, they're more likely to break up. Because you gotta think,
I can see that.
That's a lot of times that you have to argue about money.
But money is stressful. Like I think the other part of that is that there's so many things that money affects when it comes to it's not just about the money. Like
Right.
if me and you were together and you're not financially responsible and you never have any money, then it's hurting me too, because
Right.
I have to make up for what you're doing that's financially irresponsible. So
Yeah.
I think it's important to note like the communication
Yeah.
of it is like you don't have to come into a relationship being rich. No. But you should be financially responsible. Like you should earn enough to balance out what you're doing in your daily life. And if not, you should adjust accordingly.
True.
So,
Well, I have a few facts here.
I have
Things,
some
tidbits.
pointers,
You have
too.
some pointers too? You want to go first?
I'll read this one just because I found it really interesting because
Okay.
when I was married, this is what we did.
Okay.
Obviously not because I read it somewhere, just because we thought it was a smart thing to do. And I think after doing that, it is something that I would, if I got into another relationship where we shared financial responsibility, I would definitely handle it either this way or something very similar. So it says, opening a joint bank account is a great idea if we're sharing finances,
Okay.
but also having a bank account for yourself. So each of you having 2 bank accounts. One of them is going to be a joint one. So me and you would share this bank account, and then you would have your own over there, and I would have my own over here.
What's the purpose of that?
Is that this would usually be the bank account that's concentrates on the things we share together, like big finances, like rent or bills or whatever. And then the money you have, if you're, have your own spending money, you have your own spending money, or I have my own spending money. And yeah. So
what
it's
happened
not
to what's
all-
yours is mine, what's mine is yours?
Why?
They always said what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours.
I think you.
We sharing in the bills, true. It's almost like a roommate situation when you do that. Like we'll pay bills together, we'll put in this account. But you go
It's not to
have
say
your
you
money and I have
can't
my
save money by putting extra money in that account or doing other things there, but you also have like there were things I think that that we were able to, especially other things like birthdays or holidays or whatever. If I buy you something, I can buy it from my account and I can still have the privacy to be able to surprise you with something or make a choice to do something on my own that you don't know about right away, because I could be like, oh, here, and that's my money. And it's not something that we're relying on as a couple.
I see that. But that can be a little sticky too. Let's say you have your own money, right? Because it's your money. You made it, right? We pay bills together. You go get things done like your hair, your nails, maybe get some maintenance to your car or whatever it needs to be. And let's say you spend all your little bit of money that was in your account.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to your partner and say, hey, can I borrow $150?
No.
Do you go into the
but
account
that
and
is
just
no,
take
but
it?
that's exactly what that's about though. It's about being financially responsible. If I have those things that I do on my own, it's about us saying like, hey, we're putting this here for the bills, the stuff that we normally have to take care of as a couple.
Right.
That over there is for your haircuts, your beard trimming, your whatever. This over here is for my nails and my hair and whatever. If I spend that, that's it.
But what happens to the person that makes the most money? What if I make more money than you? My separate account has way more money in it than yours. So who benefits out of that?
I think that's a matter of the couple.
Just because he gives you an allowance, you get an allowance out of his account. That's crazy. No.
I mean,
we have a joint account.
I'm not.
Go in and get what you need.
Or you could pay if you make way more money. Like say your check is significantly more. Like say you make
$6,000 a month.
Okay, $6,000 a month. I make $2,000.
We got to split these bills.
We don't have to split the bills. We don't.
According to what you just said in the beginning.
No, I said
pay towards the bills.
No. See, this is where things get confused. But this is about communication, right? So what I said was you would put your part and I would put mine. I didn't say
what's
half
your part?
and half.
What's the part?
Exactly.
Who pays the most of the bills?
So let's think about it like this. When people pay child support, they do this awesome calculation. There's like a little formula sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And part of the formula is you add your income to mine.
Mm-hmm.
So say you make 6, I make 4,
mm-hmm.
right? That's 100
mm-hmm.
or a 10, right? Mm-hmm. So the 10 is our total income. That creates 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So then you take that and you make it 50%, and that would be your portion and my portion, but they won't be equal because I make less.
This is where it gets sticky for me. What if the woman makes more than the guy? Now she's more financially responsible for all the bills in the house than he is?
She can be. Why not?
No. Is that can be? Is she?
It depends on the person.
That's
it depends
crazy.
on the circumstances.
I guess if it works for you, it works for you. I just don't see
and
it.
it's none of my business. I'm not going in your wallet to figure out what you're doing with your money.
I don't. That always makes me a little weird when you say separate money. I'm like, look, baby, go on and get whatever you want. The money's in there. Like, I make money, you make money. We're financially responsible together. If it works for you, it works for you. If not, hey, it's all good.
Anyway,
all right.
So it's funny that we said it like that. So I'll touch on a couple of these because it's a lot of what we just said.
Okay.
It says divide your financial responsibilities. Another way to ensure that sharing finances doesn't end in a disaster is to have an honest conversation about sharing financial responsibilities, who's responsible for making what payments on time, and who facilitates the tracking, keeping of the bills, due dates, things like that. Because, of course, it ends up in an argument if somebody's not keeping track of that.
Yeah. You don't end up in that
setting
situation.
financial goals as a couple. So this comes down to things like we just talked about, having extra money off to the side, going on trips. That's all excess from bills. So deciding how those things are going to be handled, or what things, communicating like what things are not allowed. Like, hey, Ty, you make, I don't know, $10,000 more than me.
Right.
Don't go buy a car without telling me, please. Like,
see, that was in my separate account. That was in my separate account.
Again, establishing
you do what you want with your money.
Don'ts.
Do with your money whatever you feel. Let me do with mine whatever I feel.
I
and if I want to buy a car, it's my money. According to you.
Whatever. Establishing a joint budget. So this is, again, talking about what we can and can't spend, blah, 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 blah. Consider having the shared account and the extra account. So let's see what this says about the extra account. Opening a joint bank account is a great idea. Sharing finances. However, giving control of all your money to another person can not only be risky, but might cause an avoidable fight. Consider opening up one shared account and then one separate account for the income that you wouldn't otherwise spend involving the other person. This can ensure that you work together towards goals. Be open about money while retaining a little bit more of your individuality and control over your personal finances, because sometimes people get a little fussy about their extra income. So
I like that idea.
Yeah, so it's saying you still have some individuality, some sense of control over this extra money, but you're still sharing finances and communicating that this is what we're intending to do on this shared money.
I like that idea.
Being in a newly committed relationship is an exciting feeling, but money fights can ruin a romance, ruin a relationship. But being open and honest with your partner about finances and committing to paying bills and having fun while making it work together is important. I
like that idea.
I like it.
We all can see what money goes where, how much is in the account.
I'm not going to lie, though. If you made like $10,000 more and I knew that was like sitting over there and I'm like $50.
You're like, I'm trying to figure out gas money for 2 weeks. And you over here just living your best life.
I shouldn't be struggling if you're chilling.
That's why I'm saying, like, you should have access to the money.
But
if we're together like that, where we're in a household, sharing a household together and a life together, you should have access to everything I have access to.
It's not to say that I don't have access. It's just saying that maybe I have less over here. It's sad.
He's over there eating lobster and steak. You eating ramen noodles.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about sharing, is like, no, it should not be like that, because ultimately, right, I'm not going to want to watch you struggle. Mm-hmm. So if you're struggling and I have money, you're going to get it, because if you struggle, I struggle. If we're together.
Okay. We just want to intermingle our money. You want to put your $50 with my 10,000. That's what you're saying. All right. So let me talk about some of these things I have here. So number one, everyone needs to eat. Go back to that point. So when it comes to to finances, yeah, it's very important. We need food, we need water, we need shelter. So money is very important when you talk about, life. So if we're not focused on the money aspect of the relationship, these things can be hurt, right? So you're looking at if we're not financially stable,
those are like living necessities.
Yeah, you have to have
food
these
and
things.
shelter,
clothes, the normal stuff like clean water and toilets. Like you need those things. Toilets, not out houses, like toilets. So money is very important with that as well. So your day-to-day living is living needs is going to be very
how
important.
your partner handles money is very telling of their character. Not what I just said.
I said it ties into what I have. You're absolutely right. So if your partner's all kind of
discombobulated,
yeah, or all willy-nilly with their money, they spending money on everything.
So some of this is, but I get it. But some of it, I think, too, is a like natural character flaws that we're taught.
Yeah.
Like
no, sure.
As kid, I was just talking about that the other day because I was like, when I was a kid, I remember my grandmother telling me, "Oh, let's go do this," and it was more about like having fun or getting something for us to do or whatever. And it was always like, well, you can't take it with you.
Yeah.
But then you think about within the context of that time, is people living back then, they're thinking about the Depression, how much they've lost, they didn't have. So when they did have, it was like, let's have it, let's enjoy it, let's do something great.
Right.
Or go on vacation or whatever. So I understand, but we live in a different time. People
are living much longer than they normally do. Which means, people are living way longer than they normally live. Statistically states that people.
You mean than people used to live?
Yeah, than used to live. What I mean. People used to live way shorter than what they live now, and so which means your money has to
lifespan. Use the word. Use the words.
Lifespan is greater than it has been in the past.
Longer.
Which means stretch your money. Don't think that your
money should live long.
Yeah. So do for you now, then for your future self. So if you're 30, think about the 60-year-old you, not the 35-year-old you, because the 60-year-old you gonna look back and say, "Thank you so much. You took care of me." Yeah, I'm not out here.
Well, then you gotta think about back then. It was like, if you had $50,000 saved up, you had a fortune.
Yeah.
And today it's like,
that's it. Oh, you're not gonna make it till next year. 50 grand. You're done.
You better go to another country.
Oh,
you better move.
You got taxes. You need all that. So it's very important. Number 3, a job shows motivation and goals. So
it shows some. I agree. I guess it shows some form of like ambition and consistency and a person aspiring to be something.
And don't get it twisted. It doesn't matter if you work at like a Taco Bell or a Walmart. It doesn't matter because you can work at Taco Bell and be the manager or the franchise owner.
What if he's not the manager though?
Okay. What are you working towards? Are you working towards that? Because you could be working towards like the general manager. You can be working towards the district manager job. They may bring you some money.
Okay. So I'm fine with having a job and it doesn't have to be like the job. I'm probably not as fine with the like Taco Bell cashier.
If he's doing what he has to do.
If I was 21, maybe 20. No, I'm lying.
It's hard out here for a pimp. If you can get any type of job, man, like make it last until whatever you can make it last till.
Look, I'm not one to tell people how to do stuff, okay? But I can't. Taco Bell, McDonald's, like.
But what if he's not content with Taco Bell? Like he said, look, I need some money for right now.
I need you to be the manager at Taco Bell.
You can't walk in with that unless you have manager experience.
At 20-something, if you're not there yet, you're not for me. Because you're moving slow.
Things happen.
Okay.
People get laid off.
I'm old.
In between time.
I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Now, somebody may have time for that.
You want him to sit around the house and not work?
No, I just want him to have his Taco Bell. He could have his Taco Bell job with somebody else.
Okay. That works.
Just have a real job.
Taco Bell is a real job.
That's not a real job.
They get paid. There's a real job.
It is a real job.
It's a real job. Listen, if you go to Taco Bell, I think it's honorable.
Let's just say
you have to feed a lot of people and deal with a lot of bull crap on your job. Don't listen to her. It's a real job.
If somebody took me out to dinner on their Taco Bell cashier, $7 an hour, $8 an hour job, their paycheck would be gone. Dinner. One dinner. Bring my kid along, we're all finished for the week.
All right.
We ain't even paid rent yet. I'm just saying.
I can't.
I'm just saying.
All right, number 4. Sure, money can't buy class, but it can buy elegance. Fact.
You do have more options to enjoy the finer things in life.
It does.
That's the God's honest truth. That's just what it is. That's just the world we live in.
Yeah, so don't think that you're going to get a bunch of money and like buy somebody to love you. No. Y'all love each other. And y'all can enjoy some things. Next one. What's the next one?
Money gives you the power to leave a bad relationship. So,
Facts.
How we were talking about earlier, just throwing everybody's money in one big pot. Everybody should be sharing. You shouldn't have nothing off to the side. You think you walking out of that relationship like just willy-nilly, like, hey, I'm not happy.
Yeah. Yeah, according to the law, it's 50-50. I don't care how many accounts y'all got separate. If y'all are married, you can leave and get half.
So, that's what the law says. It is true. But it doesn't work out that easy. Like, it's not... Unfortunately, it doesn't always go that smooth.
I would agree. But you have options.
But if you do make a decent living and you have money, you can get up and go because you can support yourself. And this is not to say you have to have like a hidden account somewhere. This is just to say like you have the financial freedom to be able to live independently. In other words, like if we live together and I make no money, then
I ain't screwed.
I can't go nowhere.
But most women agree with me or not, but have screw you money saved up somewhere.
I didn't.
Going forward, I bet you would.
I am hoping that going forward, and this is for everybody, I am hoping that going forward, I've never been the type of person to like be selfish, keep money from somebody, like, and I'm a firm believer in if like you don't want to be here, you don't have to be.
Yeah. And
if we built this together, it belongs to both of us. So I would like to believe that in the event something doesn't work out, we can amicably say, this is what you deserve and talk about it.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, most women have some type of like money hitting in the TV or something.
The mattress?
Yeah. In the underwear drawer where the tampons are, because we're not going in there.
If you want happy, healthy kids, you'll need a lot of money between the two. Yeah.
That's facts.
Kids are expensive.
Really expensive. I'm talking like...
It depends on the person. Some people don't. Look, public school, they just stay home chilling. They ain't doing no extra. And they're cool. Some people do.
Yeah, but kids are still expensive. You gotta feed them, clothe them, entertain them.
Entertain them?
Yeah.
Are you tap dancing?
No, you gotta put them in like karate, baseball, football.
That's what I'm talking about. Some parents are like doing the bare minimum.
Nah, healthy, happy kids is what we're talking about.
Oh, happy kids.
When you put them in
yes, like when you're putting them in football, baseball, cheerleading, dance, whatever it is they're doing. That costs money.
Yes.
For both of you.
Yes.
By the way, when you split, responsibility doesn't go away. It's not like I don't have to do none of the extra because they don't live with me.
Oh, no. Sometimes it gets worse. You have to do a little bit more.
Because you're not there.
Because you're not there. Just saying. Okay, so let's see here. How your partner spends their money can help you match with someone who has a similar lifestyle to yours. So if you're used to having really nice things and then you're dating someone that's not really used to having that or even care about that type of stuff, maybe because they can't afford it or just they just don't care about that type of stuff, it may not be a good match for you. And lifestyle can be like, look, I travel 3 times a year. And they're like, look, I ain't built like that. Like, my account does not show any travel swipes whatsoever. I don't have any frequent flyer miles on my card. None of that. Like, I go on a trip maybe 3 times.
I can't make you a
in
trip
10
person.
years.
I can't make you a
I'm
traveler.
making you one. I'm making you one with my money. Like, it's your money and my money together making us travelers together. I'm coming on the plane with Gucci bags.
I should
you coming on the plane
you,
with like
I should upgrade you.
Jan Sport bags. I need you to match my fly.
What's wrong with Jan Sport?
It's not Gucci. I'm a used to a Gucci bag. I'm a used to.
So
I make my own words up.
Jan Sport.
Jan Sport.
I'm fine with that.
I'm cool with Jan Sport too. I'm just saying if you're used to like Gucci.
Look, I'm not used to Gucci or whatever. Like I'm cool with Jan Sport. It's fine. I'm traveling, so I don't give a damn either way. You want to hear something funny though? I had somebody tell me recently they went on a trip with their boyfriend. He upgraded his ticket.
And left them in the coach.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not used to the same lifestyle, that's what you get. You should have the money upgrade.
I was like...
You didn't get the money? You didn't have the money upgrade? Okay.
I was like, he did that on the way to where you guys were going?
Yeah. I'm used to being in first class. You are okay being back here.
And I was like... And that's the part I agree with you on. Like, I was like, if that was me, we would have had a problem when we got to where we were going. Because if I'm traveling with you, I expect to be traveling with you.
So I downgraded myself because you want to be in coach. How's that fair?
You had the pleasure of my company.
We ride in the same rental car.
Then pay for my first class ticket.
I paid for the initial ticket. Get the upgrade. It's only like $59.
You see how this is going?
It's $59. Upgrade to first class.
Here's the argument. Here's your example.
So that's why the example happens. Just like that. I wouldn't leave you in coach. If we all going to be in coach, we're going to be in coach. No. I just don't like the peanuts in coach. It's like been sitting in the back forever. I hate it. Guys, find a woman who can earn a living sexy too. That's absolutely true. Some guys are just a little intimidated by women that make a lot of money. I think it's cool. Hey.
I think it depends.
You take me out.
Depends on the man.
Take me out.
All men are not like that though.
You booked the hotel room. You flew me out. You flew me out. I like that.
But there is something to be said for like, I'm going to get it for this. Like the man. Like the man who's the man.
To make more money than you? He's the man?
It's not because he makes more money. It's a combination of things. But
because he upgraded your ticket?
I wouldn't say because he upgraded my ticket.
I didn't say. Yes, that's what you mean.
They just got blushed.
Mm-hmm.
I was picturing the guy who was like upgrading my ticket and like, hey, you want to go on this trip? And I was like, I don't mind buying a vacation for somebody every once in a while though. I don't mind. If I got it, I would do it.
Yeah. Listen, guys like to be pampered too.
If I have it like that, I would do it. I would definitely do it.
Buy me a car.
So I have one.
Pay my rent.
Slash and removing unnecessary expenses.
Yes.
What are unnecessary expenses?
If you have Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon Prime, like something's wrong. Cut some of that out.
What if I just want choices? I want choices.
Choices are expensive. Okay, well, fine.
You know what?
But unnecessary expenses are.
I remember when me and my ex-husband separated, I was looking at, obviously, at this point, you go from being like a married couple to like single mom in like a matter of like seconds, right? And then you're like, every time I got has to be here, right? Netflix, Apple Music, I don't know, nails, the random app subscription that charges you $5 a month,
Tidal,
the random like $3.99, the just crazy stuff.
Starbucks every day.
Yes, there was so many things that were like literally just coming out. Like, I'm talking about, like, I had an Amazon app for reading something. I had a bunch of stuff, just a bunch of stuff. And I didn't realize how much those little things like really added up to like a grip, because they were small things, but you know, it was like here and there, and they would come out at random points throughout the month. And I'm like, I didn't even know half of this stuff was here. And when you look at like the big picture, you're spending 30, 40, 50 bucks a month on just subscriptions and apps and music and whatever. So I started setting up, and you could look into it with, depending on who you bank with or credit cards or whatever, I started setting up alerts that alerted me when things were automatically subscribed.
Yeah.
Because I even had, and I'm still like an avid Amazon shopper, but I even had subscriptions on Amazon of things that automatically charged to my account and shipped out.
Wow.
Because my daughter was small at the time. So things like baby wipes or diapers or things that I knew I would need, they were just automatically getting purchased and sent to me.
Sent to you. Got you in a trap.
So I was in this like, and those weren't even like monthly things. Those were like every 3 months. So I was... Wow. Yeah, because it was like big things like paper towels, like a big case of baby wipes or things like that. Yeah. And I would have like a purchase of like $50 or $40 just automatically coming out of my account, and I didn't even know it. And obviously,
gotta be careful. Amazon is setting you up.
And obviously, when you're in a relationship, there's 2 incomes. It's not a big deal.
You don't see
but when you're
out.
by yourself,
yeah,
and it was 40, 50 bucks, I was like,
yeah. And that's, you know, to your point, that's like an unnecessary thing. You can get it at as needed. But like for guys, going to a strip club, it's an added expense every month for no reason.
Who's
going to a strip club all the time, every week?
You better not be going to a strip club spending my money.
Oh, wait a minute. That comes up to separate account. You know, that whole $10,000 over here, you get
$50. That's my money, though.
This is...
Now... It becomes
now it's your money. Now it's our money.
Let me tell you,
it
became my money when you were giving it away for free. Like when you were giving it away for a product that doesn't come home with you, that's a problem.
No. It comes home.
No, you gave it away to. Never mind.
I can't buy a car. I can't go to strip clubs. The money's supposed to only sit there for food. And wherever miscellaneous things I'm going to buy.
And like taking me on a vacation.
And taking her on vacation. My separate account is only solely made for her usage. That's interesting.
This is a realistic demonstration of like role playing.
Yeah.
If we were in a relationship and I found out that half his money went to a stripper.
Oh God. That's my money. I don't for my money.
This is where that crazy extra account thing doesn't work.
You say you're not be looking through my account and all my...
I didn't say it was a secret. I said that's your money to spend for you for like a haircut, for...
How many haircuts do you think I'm going to get with $10,000? Listen, you can't dictate where the money goes.
We use $10,000 as an example.
All right. $1,200.
Good. You could get a haircut every week. You could get a manicure or something if you want.
You're dictating where his money goes.
I said there have to be some established do's and don'ts. Strip clubs is on the don't list. And if we're in a really good relationship, you don't need a strip club. You can just come home and be like, I want to see somebody dance. Yeah. Make it rain over here.
I'm all for that. I'm a big fan of like throwing the money on your girl. No, because you get something at the end. All right, so if you're both financially independent, you don't have to worry about
ulterior
motives. Like, so you don't have somebody looking at you like,
He trying to get me for all my money.
I think she's really here for another reason. Because every time she comes around, she asks me for money. It's not anything else. Right? And people get paranoid with their money. When you make money and the other person doesn't make as much as you, people get a little paranoid about their money.
This is true.
Like, they don't want to leave it. They don't want to show you what they buy, what they purchase, where they go, what they have. Because they're thinking, if I show you, then you may be asking me for it too. Let alone, like, giving them access to your money.
That's not a healthy relationship already.
Why?
Because there's all these weird insecurities. Like,
well, I'm saying some people are just weird with their money like that.
Get over it. When you go in to
should somebody know how much you make in a relationship?
I don't care.
I mean, should they know?
Yeah.
Why?
If we're sharing money, they should know.
How if we're not sharing money, let's say we use that example of we pay bills, you have your money, I have my money. Should you know how much money I make?
Yes.
Why?
Because how are we deciding what's being put in? If this is like to create some sort of balance, you're making 10 grand and I'm making 2. Is it fair that we're splitting all the bills?
Yeah.
So when I'm broke, because we're splitting all the same amount of bills and you still got 10 grand sitting over there.
Go get a job at Taco Bell. Like a second job.
I almost hit you. I did.
See, now you don't look at Taco Bell the same, do you?
It's not the same. I
get what you're saying. I think sometimes it depends on where you are in your relationship. If you're in that situation where y'all that deep in.
Next point.
Obviously, yes.
Creating an emergency fund. What do you think?
Yeah. A joint emergency fund? A joint one? Not my emergency, your emergency. Yeah. A joint emergency fund is great.
Is a joint emergency fund?
Mm-hmm.
How much should be in the emergency fund?
That is divided on how much I decide to put in every week or every 2 weeks or whatever. It can be $200, it can be $50, whatever.
Is it an even amount?
If I put in 50, you put in 50. If I put in 200, you put in 200.
Why is everything equal if I make so much less?
Because it's no longer your and my emergency fund. It's my emergency fund. If I'm putting in more, it's mine. There's no balance there.
You need help.
I don't need help. I'm just...
You're so selfish.
That's what it says. You got to make sure your guys are making the same amount of money, or at least equal, so your guys can...
You're so
have the same ideas. I'm just saying.
So selfish.
All right. Money also make arguments disappear. I agree.
We're together on that.
You don't have to worry about stressing over money all the time, and if you're going to eat tomorrow or not, or if the light's going to get cut off, or the car going to get repossessed, or the fact that you want to go on a vacation but you can't afford it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Should I ask to see a new partner's credit report?
Absolutely. Yes. That's almost a requirement now. Like, I need to see. The thing is, not saying that you'll be disqualified as a partner. I need to know what I'm walking into.
So I'm gonna say this. I think of relationships. It's gonna sound bad because I'm single, so it sounds bad, but it is what it is. I think of relationships as like investments, like a business investment, right?
Absolutely.
So if you walk in totally broke, that's okay. If you have an investment value that could be built upon. Does that make sense? So if you came in totally broke, but you're very ambitious, you have a fighting spirit, and I know that there is some sort of talent or education or something that can be built upon, I could work with that. Not if you're working at Taco Bell and not working towards anything.
It's ambition.
Hush. Now, if you are working at Taco Bell and you're not going to be a 35, 40-year-old rapper, I'm not doing that. That's craziness.
Okay.
But say you're working somewhere where you're not making a whole lot of money for the sake of like flexibility. because you're working towards the next thing. I could do that. Because that shows some ambition and some striving to get to the next level.
Right.
Now,
I can respect that.
If you're working at Taco Bell and you've been at Taco Bell 5 years and you're still the cashier and you're like, yeah, I'm going to make it big one day like this, wishing, hoping on a prayer. No. There's a difference.
All right. So I have a question. I forget the name of the movie. But you watched it as well.
Acrimony.
There you go. So in that movie, if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert, here we go. So the guy had a very smart young man.
Mm-hmm. He was brilliant.
He was very, very brilliant. Just not as...
I'm glad we brought this up.
He's not as like... He wasn't like as...
So if you haven't seen Acrimony, go watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's
awesome movie. He wasn't the type of person to go out and get a job. He was focused on his mission.
He was super hyper focused on the project, whatever he was working
for years, like mad years. And
many.
The woman supported him. His wife supported him through that situation.
That's arguable.
And to a point, she supported him. The house, the money, she worked. He stayed home. She invested in the business. He took money out the house. He did things that he needed to do.
This is where...
So my question is, could you do that?
It would never be done the way they did it.
How would it be done?
Okay, so see, the version that you see in the movie is like 2 kids. He's been building whatever project he's been building since they were children, right? Yeah. She's working her ass off to help finance this project and maintain the home, right? There is not shown in the movie. Now, obviously, they don't give you like 20 years every moment because we can't sit and watch a movie for that long. But there's no communication in that, no open communication in that movie of the point of where we are going forward. Like he had this project. He was always planning to make it big with this project. And she was always working her ass off to fund his project and their life. At some point, becoming a grown-up is part of like balancing your whatever that passion is, whatever that project is, and balancing life, right? For them, I think that part of it was they didn't have children, so it was just them. And I think that when you have kids, some of that just in life experience and maturity, it changes because you're like, I have to provide for another human being. Hopefully that happens. They don't have kids in the movie, so I think obviously that level of maturity isn't achieved until you have to experience it. Yeah. But he didn't work. And I think at some point I would have came to my partner and said, like, hey, I get it, but these are the things we have to do first. Like, we have to pay bills. We have to live. We can't live and manage life and do that 24/7. Like, there has to be some balance. Obviously you need to put money back into this project and we still have to pay mortgage. So we gotta balance that. And this way it's been presented like with a choice.
I hear what you're saying. But the hardest part about this in the movie is the project he's working on is not one he can stop and start and stop. What people don't realize, when you have a passion for something, that goes like on 150 miles an hour every day. And when you take on a job to support life and things like that, what tends to happen, you fall down a rabbit hole. You get too wrapped up in the job and not the mission. So even it showed in the movie too. That's why you
set goals. Like that's why you communicate.
And some people can't do it that way. You got to do one or the other. Because in the movie, he ended up getting a job. He wasn't working on the project. He was solely going to work. He was entrapped in that work process.
And the other part of that too is that, again, not shown in the movie, so you don't know if it was actually happening. But I really didn't see where she supported him outside of allowing him to work on the project. I didn't see a point where, like, babe, where can I help?
Yeah.
Or what can I do?
What can I do?
Or you want me to stand over here and hold this?
What makes it faster? Instead of you going down to
like if we're if it's something, even if it's your project, it has to be something that because it's your project and I love you and I want to be with you, that
and I believe in you.
And I believe in your project, I believe in your ambition, that it becomes something that is a common goal for the both of us. People always, nowadays, it's like very different than like people who were old fashioned and lived in a time where, you know, it was like, oh, I'm just supporting my family and I'm supporting my wife and I'm supporting my kids or whatever. And then you're just going through life every day, going to work. But today you have so many entrepreneurs, so many people looking to do things, working on projects where they have to have some open line of communication to say like, this is what we're planning on doing. But while we're working towards doing this, we can still go to work every day.
Yeah. As an entrepreneur, I can tell you it's very, very, very difficult to, if you're not able to focus on your business 100% every single day versus when you have to focus 100% somewhere else and then switch gears and give another 100%. We only have 24 hours in the day. Mm-hmm. So 8 hours at work. And then how much time do you give to your business? Is it another 8 hours or 16? You had to sleep somewhere. You got to eat. You got to spend time with family. So my thing is like, it's very difficult. I think when you're dealing with an entrepreneur, you have to support that person to your point. It's not just financial. You have to help them get to the point where it's like, hey, I see that you're hitting a stumbling block. Where can I step in to help?
And that's what I was talking about. It's like committing to like setting goals and having some realistic establishment of where we're going in these efforts, right? Yeah. If you're working on something and, you know, I say, hey, I know you're working on that. I know that's really important to you. And it's really important to me that you fulfill whatever ambition, whatever passion it is that you have. But let's commit to working wholeheartedly on this project for the next year, period. You're not working. You're not doing anything else but committing to this project for the next year or for the next 6 months. If it doesn't work out by that point in time, then I need you to help me contribute elsewhere, or establishing, and I'm not saying it has to be just that, but establishing some sort of set goal or plan to where you have something where you can say, this is what we talked about and reference back to that. Because people get, and if you watch the movie, you'll see this, people become resentful and they become, you know, they become hateful even for what they've sacrificed for somebody else's ambition and goals and passion. And it's not, that's human nature, right?
Yeah.
Like we all want to put in and receive and invest, like a part of the investment.
But she did in the movie. But one of the things I wanted to say is that when you're with someone that's a dreamer, that someone that has a passion like that, understand that sometimes they go into a place where you may not relate. And it's hard for a person to relate to that if they don't have a passion of their own. She didn't have a passion. You think about it, in the movie, it was nothing that she was like, oh, this is what I really wanted to do.
She just wanted to live.
She just wanted to live.
Like, so she just wanted to, but she wanted to live, but it seemed like her goal was always like, I want to be rich, right? Like, I want to be, her family was well off.
Well, yeah.
He didn't have anything, so he was okay with not having anything.
Yes.
I think her family was well off, so it seemed as though a lot of things were just like kind of handed to her.
Yeah.
And when they weren't being handed to her and she really had to work hard to maintain just living normal was when she started to become resentful and depressed and things started to develop. And I don't think even we realized like how being stressed out and being financially like strapped can really affect just our emotional stability, our mental health. And it goes into so many other avenues that I think it's important to just always communicate and say like, hey, this is what I'm working with.
Yeah.
And this is how we can move forward. Because but if you're not doing that, you're setting yourself up and your relationship up for failure.
So to the point, even in that movie, to what we're talking about today, being wanted the same. She came from a whole different type of background where, money wasn't a really huge issue. The family was pretty much well off. He didn't really have too much. I'm not saying you can't put the two together, but it gets very difficult. To your point, there's no communication on, hey, this is where we are. This is where we need to go. This is how I need you to help me, help you, help us. And if you're not doing that, money's going to play a huge part in it. Because nowhere in there was anyone thinking about saving, the potential if this thing doesn't work or it doesn't hit or whatever. But one thing I can say, just being an entrepreneur, it's very frustrating when you know something will work. When you know it will work, you can't see nothing else happen but this, and you have another person that don't share or even can feel that same passion as you. So you're not thinking about the money. You're thinking about, you see the future. And in the movie, you're talking, hey, remember I told you this is what I want for you. This is what I want for us. It's like real to him. And that's how it is for most entrepreneurs. It's real.
But I believe that because you have
to take a chance.
I live in that headspace sometimes too, but you have to balance being realistic and having, like how we talked about earlier, like just life's necessities, making certain things a priority so you can move the right way.
I would say in the movie, he didn't do anything wrong. I agree with him 100%. Because his end result, his payoff day, was a multi-million-dollar payoff day.
Okay.
I don't think he did anything wrong.
I would
Tell me where he lost. Where did he lose? Because he was trying to keep his wife. She couldn't stay. And it came down to money.
What I'm saying is they were married for years and he contributed nearly nothing financially. And now,
that's what happens when you invest. When you invest in something, you can invest into it for years.
Exactly.
And then you get your payoff.
But you don't leave your partner out there struggling by themselves. You don't. You just don't do that.
Did he?
He did. But the part of it that I would say is her fault is that she allowed it to get that far without communicating, this is too much for me.
I can do that.
Like
it wasn't working for her.
I think as a man, he should have thought to himself, like just as a human being, as someone in a relationship, he should have said, hey, I should be contributing more. But I also think that she should have came to him at some point before when she did and said, this is becoming too much for me. Because I think there was a time long before she actually said it that it was too much for her and she didn't say it. And she ended up becoming resentful and angry.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, look, I'm getting to the point where I'm pouring out and pouring out and pouring out and pouring out and I don't have anything left.
Well, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it because this will make so much more sense if you do. And what we talked about today will make a lot more sense as well. When you're dealing with money and finances, to Amanda's point, is when you're in a situation, it makes it harder for you to leave if finances aren't in order. But I don't say leave, just you have to have an open communication when it comes to money.
Communication is so important, guys. It's like, I think any part of a relationship is super, it's dependent on the fact that you sit down and have a conversation. And some people say like, oh, it's too much. You'd be talking about everything 24/7 if you sat down and talked about everything. And it's not about taking an hour to sit down and talk about every part of your life. No. But it is about just saying, hey, this is what I have going on. This is what you have going on. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. Because then when decisions get made, you're not really fighting about the decision. You're not really fighting about the money. You're fighting about the fact that two people are in it and it feels like one person made the choice for both.
Yeah.
So just communicate and be mindful that there's another person involved.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing it for yourself and you lose, it's just you. When you do it when you're doing it in a couple and you lose, you affect the other person.
Yeah. Yeah. Money is serious, y'all. Now, I wouldn't suggest to hide money. I was joking earlier. I don't say hide money. I think that one person sometimes can be more financially responsible than the other one, and to be able to stash money away for a rainy day. That's beyond savings.
But I also think that's a part of communicating that, is that like part of being financially responsible when you're not financially responsible is saying, hey, we're in this together and I know you're the responsible party. Yeah. So
don't touch. I can't touch.
We're not supposed to touch this. Yeah. So let me give it to you. Yeah. You know, or this is the part of the money that's, you know, hard for me to handle, or it's hard for me to handle excess money. So I'm going to keep my hair and my nails and my shoe fund over here. But the excess I have from that, I'm going to give back to you because you need to put that in the hideaway because I can't see it, because if I see it, it's going to be gone. And at least I'm open enough to say, I know it'll be gone.
Yeah, I know we have action. I can't really get to it right now. So question for you. I asked a few people this over our 3-week time span. Different people, different ages, different backgrounds. And the answers I got back was very interesting. So I want to ask you. Okay. When you get paid, what's the first thing you're supposed to do?
Supposed to? I mean, it depends on who you're asking.
I'm asking you. What's the first thing you're supposed to do? All right, let me rephrase
what's the first thing that I do?
What's the first thing you do?
I pay my rent and my daughter's school.
And then what?
Bills.
Okay. So do you know the first thing you're supposed to do financially?
Pay yourself.
No.
What?
The first thing you're supposed to do. No. And this is a misconception for a lot of people. The first thing you're supposed to do is invest. Invest first. If you have a 401k, that's an investment. It comes out your check first. So set an amount that you want to invest. I don't care what it's into, a money market account or whatever. Take that amount of money right out your check in the beginning. Or you can even get it where it's taken out your check automatically so you don't see it. Because when you invest first, you're setting yourself up for success later. We typically would not invest until after everything's paid, but then you don't have anything to invest. Right? Mm-hmm. You can see your finances a little bit better when you just take the money off the top, say, hey, I can't touch it. That's for my investment. And then if you want to take care of your bills or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you take care of your bills. How much will you normally pay yourself?
I'm not that person.
Just give me a random number.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I'll give you some of the feedback I got from most people. So they say, yep, I pay my bills first. Or let's say what you said. Oh, I pay myself. I'm like, really, do you? Like, no, I actually pay my bills first.
No, you don't. Okay. Even when you say you pay yourself, you don't.
You think that's the answer I want to hear?
And before I forget, the point that I just made about church, I think is super important and not something enough people talk about. If you are dealing with somebody, this is nothing against people that go to church. If you are dealing with somebody that is heavily involved in church, religion, whatever, and they believe in paying tithes, that is fine.
That's their money.
That's their
money. Comes
out
their separate account.
You're so stupid.
It's not the joint account.
I think it is important that if this is somebody you are considering dealing with long-term and eventually sharing finances with, that you discuss charitable contributions or paying tithes or things of that nature. Include those because not enough people do. Right. And I've heard
that's an argument too.
I've heard a lot of people, and so you already know I graduated from Regent, so obviously a huge faith-based community. And I've heard of a lot of couples that save money together, spend money together, put their money together. And, I'm going to take 10% for tithes off of what we make. So if we make 10 grand and you take 10%, that's a huge chunk of money, right?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
We have to talk about it.
You see what I'm saying?
We have to talk about it.
And those are things that I don't think enough people consider.
Yeah.
When they're talking about money, because they're thinking like, oh, she just, every once in a while. And first of all, tithes is not every once in a while.
It's once a week.
Once a month. It's 10% of something. I mean, and you could pay your tithes however you see fit. Like I used to tell myself, like, if I take, $1,000 worth of clothes and give it to a church, that's me paying tithes. Because it's of value to me.
Counts. You
now, like I said, you could do what you think is, you know, good for you and what works for you. I am nobody to judge. Jesus ain't down here telling me what's okay and what's not okay. I don't have nothing to do with that. What you do with him is your business. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it is a topic worth talking about.
Absolutely.
Because not enough people talk about it. Or like you said, if you're that 3-trip person and you're the person that you know, your trip may be to North Carolina or to New York, or you may be 3 trips to like Fiji, Hawaii, and, you know, Italy.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, huge difference. A lot of extra money.
So, I mean, I've had friends that go on, you know, their annual trip with their spouse and they're spending 10, 15 grand.
Yeah.
If that's something we're doing, that's something that needs to be talked about.
Mm-hmm. And you have.
You're not even married yet and you're taking half?
You're doing 15 grand on a trip, honey, yet?
Half of what?
15 on a trip. Won't go in. Anyway, to my point, real quick before we get out of here, don't be afraid to talk about money. I think that's something that people are afraid of.
I feel like this was such a serious topic.
No, it was actually funny. Part of it, anyway.
Some of it is funny, but it is okay.
It is serious, though. Money's serious.
I was just gonna say it is very serious because it could ruin, absolutely ruin a relationship.
Yes.
So don't take it lightly. Like when you invest in your dreams and your passion, when you invest in another person, when you're giving away money, when you're sharing money, when you borrow this, whatever, don't take it lightly.
No.
Because, you know, think about it, what it would be if you didn't get it back. And I'm not talking about giving away money. I'm talking about just the investment in itself. If I invest time, energy, and money into a human being, if I get nothing back, I'm sad. It's a sad day.
It is.
So just be careful how you spend your money, what you do with it, how you prioritize things. It's important.
Yes.
And it could change your life in seconds.
It's your money.
So don't take it lightly. Money. Be informed, get educated, look things up, Google it.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
And fellas, don't be afraid to ask her for half.
Don't listen to him.
Half.
Don't
I want half.
Listen to him.
It's 15 grand. I want half.
Whatever. Like,
can you
share,
at least pay for the upgrade?
Like, share, and subscribe. Do that.
I hope y'all learned something today. Finances in a relationship. Is it important? How important is it? Well, we found out a few helpful tips for you guys. You can find them down at the bottom with a link to where we got the information today as well. As always, please like and subscribe to the show as well. Go ahead and follow us on social media at Morning Coffee and on Instagram at Morning Coffee, Facebook, Morning Coffee. My personal Instagram is P Hakeem, and
mine is
right down here.
Down there. Take a look.
She'll get it together one day, just not today.
Unapologetic, yeah, whatever. Down there.
Somewhere. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching.